sports radio show on the planet. Man Hour Nation, rise up.
I am going 6-0 in the division because the rest of the division sucks.
This is the best division in football, Tori.
Take that step back. We are seeing the true quarterback that he really is, which he is not a very good quarterback.
Welcome to the Man Hour, we taking over. It's time to give you them facts. Won't miss a game or two, cause we here for you and we reporting all of them stats. We coming to you live to keep you updated. Broadcast across the country, we the fan favorites. Break the volume to the max and don't nobody touch it. We crossing topics off the list, addressing every subject. So if you ain't got a clue, then you can tune in and give it 24 hours and we back again. Breaking news, new scoops, we the top dogs. From the fields to the courts, we report it all. Buzzer beaters through your speakers, we the ones to call. Trust us for the news if it's got a ball. Giving you the top stories cause we love the turf. Tell a friend to tune in and where you heard it first. Yeah, you're listening to the Man Hour. We taking over, it's time to give you them stats. Yeah, you listen to the Man Hour. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them facts. Yeah, you listen to the Man Hour. We taking over, it's time to give you them facts. Turn the speakers up a little loud. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them stats. Cause you listen to the Man Hour.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. You can use promo code SUNSET till the end of the week. That is Friday, October 1st, to save 20% off of all orders. That's promo code SUNSET over there at manhourradio.com. Also, guys, tonight's show is brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Head over to thrivefantasy.com. Use promo code MANHOUR and they'll match up to $50 on your first deposit. That is promo code MANHOUR at thrivefantasy.com. You can also download that on Android and iOS devices. But let's welcome the man, the myth, the legend, the show, Beastie Combs. What's going on, Beastie?
What is going on, Buck? What is going on, Man Hour Nation? Belly Up Sports, 313 The Flash. Everybody else who's listening to us tonight. Man, I'm pumped. We're going to talk more Matt Nagy. I get to yell more about Matt Nagy.
Yeah, I was going to ease you into it, but you know what? Why not? Let's just go ahead and dive right into it. And Combs, you came out, on Monday night, and you let Matt Nagy and the Chicago Bears staff just have it. But Matt Nagy has yet to name a starter for Sunday's game, and Combs, it's Wednesday. We don't know if Justin Fields is even healthy to play. We don't know if Andy Dalton's healthy to play. And Nick Foles is Nick Foles. So let me ask you this, Brandon. Who should start next week for the Chicago Bears?
Man, I'm torn on this one. Obviously I want to see my boy Justin Fields playing. I want to see my boy Justin Fields doing what he can do. I just don't have confidence that Matt Nagy can put him in the right position to succeed and not get him killed. And I don't think Andy Dalton's healthy enough. And that's why I don't think he's named a starter. I think that Matt Nagy doesn't know how to develop a game plan for anybody, let alone for Justin Fields. I don't think he knows how to develop a game plan for these guys. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I think he's lost. And to be honest with you, I don't think he thinks he's going to have a job pass this weekend. I really don't.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think he is going to have a job past this weekend?
I hope not. I hope not. I would have fired him before he got on the plane last weekend. I mean, what he did to Justin Fields, what he did to the Chicago Bears, I don't think so. I'm not going to go out there and say he was trying to hold back Justin Fields. He was trying to ruin Justin Fields. But what he did was show that he is incapable of being a head coach in this league. He's incapable of being a play caller in this league. And I don't know how he gets a job after Chicago. I really don't. You have yet, your complaint for 4 years under Mitch Trubisky was he's not my guy. He wasn't my guy, blah, blah, blah. And people backed you up. I backed you up. I said, after they let go of Mitch Trubisky, I said, hey, we know what we have in Mitch Trubisky. Now let's see what Matt Nagy has once he gets his guy. He got his guy. They traded up and got his guy. And what we saw last weekend was atrocious. You can't have a guy who is mobile, a guy who throws better on the run, a guy who can do things with his leg, and call 3 plays that are designed to get him out of the pocket in a game where he gets sacked 9 times.
So let me ask you this question here. You brought up you brought up the statement that, he got his guy, and I heard on other sports show, I believe it was Chicago sports show actually, that Matt Nagy has a Justin Fields playbook. It kind of seemed like to me that those were not Justin Fields plays per se. Do you think Matt Nagy is trying to get fired like at this point?
I don't know if he's trying to get fired. I just think he is inept at his job. I don't think he knows what he's doing. You know how when you go to work, Buck, and you're in meetings and stuff, and there's this one guy who's constantly just screwing everything up. You're always yelling at him. You're
That's
always
me.
doing,
Yeah.
You're just like, God, how does this guy still have a job? And it's not your job to fire him,
Right.
but you just everybody else can see, everybody around him can see that he shouldn't have a job. That's where Matt Nagy's at right now. He hears all the chatter, whether he listens to the shows or whether he reads the newspaper or whether he listens to, the chatter outside. He hears it. He knows what people are thinking. And if I'm in that locker room, I have a meeting, and I call the coaches into the meeting, even not just a players only meeting. And my message in that meeting is that we cannot allow Matt Nagy to call another play on offense ever. We can't. It's got to be Bill Lazor's job. It's got to be. You can't. What he showed last weekend, no ability to adjust mid game. That's been his thing all his entire head coaching career with the Bears is, we got to go back and watch the film. We got to go back and watch the film. Well, if you have to go back and watch the film, you have no ability to adjust in game. You can't watch the film. I want you to make adjustments at halftime.
So
if something's not working, I want you to make adjustments on the fly, and he can't do that.
So Combs, fun fact, they have tablets on the sideline where they actually watch film during the game. So how much film does he need to watch to make adjustments? I'm just kind of asking for it.
Well, not only that, maybe he can't multitask.
Yeah.
Maybe he can't call a play and watch a video at the same. Maybe he can't do those things. Whatever it is, it's not working. And Matt Nagy's time as the Chicago Bears head coach is all but over. I mean, it's just a matter of time before they finally fire this guy. They've never fired a coach midseason. Never once. If they go out and lose to Detroit, if they lose to Detroit here in Chicago, I guarantee there is no way the McCaskies can bypass that and not let him go.
Yeah,
there's no way.
The Detroit Lions are a sneaky good team. They might be 0-3, but they're the best 0-3 team out there. We'll get that later later in the show. But our man Mike Reeves comes across the field and says Matt Nagy will be working at the high school that Adam Gase is working at. #worst coach ever. So it's funny that you say that, Reeves, because I was watching ESPN on Monday or Tuesday, and Mike Greenberg, which is a Jets fan, he was asking for Adam Gase to come back to New York. So, is he really the worst coach ever? I mean,
yes,
that's solid.
And Matt Nagy's right there. I mean, look, you might have coaches who are just as bad right now as Matt Nagy. You might have some that are just as inept, but nobody's worse. Nobody's worse than what Matt Nagy is doing here in Chicago. It's gross.
Yeah.
It's ugly to watch. I mean, and I mean, you talk about Mike Reeves, he's a Vikings fan. He's a Minnesota guy. I'm sure he feels just about the same about Zimmer right now. Just about the same, because Zimmer is doing bad things up there in Minnesota. That team should be way better than what they are.
Should they? Should they?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They're talented. I'm not a big believer in their quarterback, but they're talented enough to be better than what they've been this season. They're scoring points, but that defense isn't stopping anybody.
Yeah, sounds like my Kansas City Chiefs, huh?
Yeah. So for the Bears, Matt Nagy has got to go. If they lose this week in Detroit and he's still the coach in week 5, I probably won't watch another game the rest of the year.
You are absolutely lying through your teeth. We all know that.
I'm telling you the truth. I can't do it. Did you see how upset I was on Sunday and Monday when I came on the show?
So
I can't handle it, man.
I watched the Bear games, and I was upset for you just seeing like they have one total offensive yard or I don't know. It was just
It put me in a bad mood the rest of the day. I was yelling at Michelle. She couldn't figure out what was wrong. I was so aggravated. And anytime they showed Matt Nagy's face on TV, I wanted to freaking kick a puppy. Like I can't stand him.
So let's complete this conversation full circle. Who is starting Sunday? versus the Detroit Lions?
I think it'll be Justin Fields.
I think it'll be Justin
I think it'll be
Fields.
Justin Fields, and I just hope and pray that Bill Lazor is calling the shots.
Yeah. If you guys want to win, you better put Andy Dalton in because he is the only winning.
Stop. First of all, Andy Dalton's hurt. He's got a bone bruise in his knee. He's not going to be ready for at least another 2 or 3 weeks.
He's still better than Justin Fields right now.
Just,
He still has more wins than Justin Fields on the season and passing yards.
First of all, that's not true.
That is true.
Because it's not true because Justin Fields came in the second quarter of that game that they won.
Does the starting quarterback get the win though? Yes or no?
I thought it was if he doesn't have the lead when he leaves the game.
This isn't baseball. Get out of here with that.
Which he did not. Well, hey, I mean, if you're gonna give him the win on that, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, they were down 7-0 when he left the game, and they ended up
win's a win,
winning the
baby.
game,
Just
and
win,
he
baby,
wasn't
win.
playing. So, and to say that Andy Dalton's a better quarterback right now than Justin Fields, you're just like smoking something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Drinking my twisted green tea here. I got a little crinkle in my throat. So you mentioned something that the Bears have never fired a coach mid-season. We are going into week 4. The Bears currently are 1-2 on the season. They did beat the Bengals somehow, some way, week 2. But with that being said, let's say they do fire Matt Nagy after this week 4 loss to the Detroit Lions. Who fits in as a head coach, not as an intern, but a long-term solution in Chicago?
Look, I'd like to see Eric Bieniemy. I mean, your guy over there in Kansas City, I really would. He's an offensive guy. He's shown the ability to do things with Kansas City. I mean, they've been to 2 straight Super Bowls. I would really like to see Eric Bieniemy come over to Chicago. I think he could do good things. And I to be honest with you, if you're Eric Bieniemy and you're looking at the league, because he's going to be a hot commodity. He's probably going to be the most sought after coach in the offseason, right? So out of all the teams that might be available, right? You're talking about probably you could let's talk about Jacksonville because I don't think Urban Meyer lasts there.
Heart problems.
You know, I'm trying to think of all the bad teams. Maybe Atlanta might have an opening. Maybe the Giants might have an opening. You know, a couple other teams might have an opening. But out of all those teams, the Bears are probably the most promising and the most talented out of all those teams, right? You've got Justin Fields. Yeah. You do have to do some work with the offensive line. Your defense is pretty damn good, even though you probably need to add a couple of veteran pieces to it, or even a couple of good young pieces in the draft, however which way you go about it. But that's probably the sexiest job out there. So I think that Sean Desai probably gets the job in the interim, but I'm not so sure unless he comes out and goes, whenever they fire Nagy, say they fire him after week 4. If Sean Desai comes out and gets the Bears into the playoffs, or at least gets them fighting for a spot, he might get a look at keeping the job. But I really would love to see if I'm the Bears, if I'm the GM of the Bears, which I would do a much better job than Ryan Pace. I would do everything I could to get Eric Bieniemy. I really would.
Yeah. So on the flip side of that coin, I feel that if the Bears fire Matt Nagy mid-season, let's say it's next week, like let's just say next week is Black Friday and he is gone. If the Bears interim head coach even leads them to a 500 record down the stretch, I think he's the next head coach of your Chicago Bears. Why would you want to, mix things up when you're 500 with no offseason as a coach, not even putting in your system or like anything? Because more than likely it'll be a promotion from the inside, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. You already got the install happening. You're just kind of taking over and you're leading the ship and calling.
If they beat the Detroit Lions, you're saying?
No, like I'm saying, if Matt Nagy gets fired next Friday, period.
Or he'd be fired on Monday.
Well, next week, right? Yeah. And they bring an interim coach in, and like he goes 500 down the stretch. Oh, yeah. I think they will take that interim label off of the coach no matter what. But if somehow Matt Nagy makes it to the end of the season, it would not be surprising if they try to go to the booth. Like, let's look at CBS. They have Bill Cowher there that's, been linked to a few coaching jobs. Well, just like you got to think people that are not in coaching right now that would, how about Rex Ryan? You know, maybe the Bears just need that grungy side of a coach again. You know, not
Yeah,
none
but
of
see, I
this.
don't know if either one of those guys know how to deal with a mobile quarterback.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like both of those
Well,
guys.
Bill
I
Cowher
mean,
had Cordell Stewart for a few years.
yeah, but he didn't do much with Cordell Stewart.
He was more of a receiver slot. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
you're
mean
right.
that's why they call him Slash. But I just, I want to see. I don't. It doesn't even have to be. Usually, right? You get the offensive guru. You fire the offensive guru, which I use that term extremely loosely
Yeah.
because this guy is not an offensive guru. Usually, the next hire is a defensive guy, right?
Usually,
I mean, it's usually the way it goes. I'm okay with that as long as we put the offensive coordinator and the quarterbacks coach. We make sure that they're in a position to help Justin Fields grow.
So
and
is your
succeed.
defensive guru Dustin Quinn? He is. He was the Seahawks defensive coordinator with the Legion of Boom, and then he went to Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, as the head coach, and then now he's coaching the defense with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a guy like that. You look at a guy who in Washington, and maybe he doesn't have a job after this year. If they continue to struggle, but you could lean that route too. I'd even be okay with that hire. I
Okay.
wouldn't mind seeing God, his name's gonna escape me now that I'm thinking of him. I can picture his face. Former Bear too.
Brian
God,
Urlacher.
he was the Bear. He was the Bears' defensive coordinator when they freaking
Julius Peppers.
choked in the Super Bowl. But anyway, the head coach of the Washington not Redskins anymore. Why can't I think of his
Ron
name?
Rivera.
Ron Rivera. There you go. I'd be okay with that hire too. I want you to put something in place that is going to allow Justin Fields. And look, Bill Lazor might be able to do a good job with that. He did a good job last year when they allowed him to take over the play calling. They allowed him to take over the play calling. They went from a 500. Well, they finished as a 500 team still, but they ended up into the playoffs after looking really, really bad after like 4 or 5 straight losses. Right. Then they end up salvaging it and getting into the playoffs because Bill Lazor's calling the plays. And then for whatever reason, Matt Nagy's like, oh, cool, you guys to the playoffs? I'm going to take the play calling back over.
So before we move into the next topic here, since you guys like the Kansas City Chiefs sloppy seconds so much, a.k.a. Matt Nagy and Eric Bieniemy, why don't you guys just go ahead and take Steve?
They should have never hired Matt Nagy.
Just take Steve Spagnuolo. There's your defensive coach. Put him as head coach, and everybody will be a lot better and a lot more happier. I'd be happy because Steve Lowe's ass is out of here. Screw that guy. God, he is so bad. Dude, talk about bad coach. There you go.
But see that, and that's the thing. Like Matt Nagy, before he became the head coach of the Bears, for whatever reason he got a ton of credit for what he did in Kansas City, even though he crapped his pants in the playoffs in Kansas City.
Yeah,
they crapped the bed that year.
Yeah, sometimes just offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators, like that's their forte. Once they get into the head coaching spot, that they don't, they can't take the take the responsibility. And Matt Nagy could be one of those guys. Who else is?
Would you fire him if they don't win against Detroit this weekend? Would you fire him on Monday?
But you still have a win, and there's winless teams out there.
Let me change that. If he goes out there and they compete and the game plan is different and they're moving the ball and they're scoring points, but they still lose, probably keep him around, right?
Yes.
But if he goes out there,
if you give up nine
plan,
sacks again, 46 total yards, he's fired at halftime.
Exactly. If it's the same game plan, if it's the same, stale offense, if you're still only doing 5 and 6 step drops with a mobile quarterback, you've got to be gone, right?
Ryan Pace is walking down at halftime with his pink slip saying, I'm the head coach now. Get your stuff and leave.
God, that would be even worse. That guy needs to go too.
Speaking of being head coaches, Aaron Rodgers is coming out on the Pat McAfee show. Like, obviously, it was yesterday or 2 days ago, and he does his weekly appearance. And there he says he loves being able to shut people up again. First things first, Combs. What he was referring to that was like, people are saying that I'm no good, I'm washed up, I'm over the hill, yada yada yada. Who said that? Who is Aaron Rodgers trying to think like somebody's pissing him off? Like, is it some Twitter troll like Aaron Rodgers burned a burner account? Who is pissing him off?
Yeah. You know how sometimes you get those people who are like they just got this chip on their shoulder, right? Where they're like, yeah, all these people were saying this and this, and you're like, well, nobody really said that, but you're
Yeah.
just angry anyway. You know, that's where this is coming from. Like the only drama in the offseason, the only thing people were talking about was Aaron Rodgers not coming back to Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers chose not to come out and actually say, hey, yeah, you know what? I actually do want to be back in Green Bay. I'm coming back. He never said any of that. He let everything go. He went on Jeopardy, you know, the whole thing with the contestant talking about whose idea was it to take the kick. That whole thing erupted. Like he soaked it all in. Aaron Rodgers loves the drama. Aaron Rodgers is just like my 13-year-old stepdaughter, right? Loves the drama, loves taking everybody, you know, and when as soon as he's like, oh, I'm so mad at this person, all of a sudden he's taking selfies and sending them, being like, hey, I love you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he just loves the drama. He takes it all in.
Yeah.
And this guy, nobody's ever said Aaron Rodgers anything. The guy's the reigning MVP.
Yeah.
The guy to me is probably a top 5 quarterback of all time. Top 5 quarterback. I'm a Bears fan. I hate the Green Bay Packers. I can't stand Aaron Rodgers. I hope somebody tears his man bun off of his head this weekend. But Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I even posted after they won on Sunday night. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are the two guys you can't leave any time on the clock for, because they will find a way to beat you. If there was only 10 seconds on that clock on Sunday, Aaron Rodgers would have completed a 60-yard pass down the center of the field, ran up, spiked it, and they would have had 1 second left to kick the ball. That's just how it happens.
Combs, pause. He wouldn't have ran. He would have done his little princess jog, like, ooh, and still had 4 seconds left. For somehow, some way, the clock stopped. I don't know.
He would have smacked the ref on the butt on the way by and said timeout. You know, look, I get it. But Aaron Rodgers is just that guy. And so he says he's shutting people up. You're not really shutting anybody up. You're doing what we've seen you do your entire career. You're doing what we expect of you. You're coming out and you're having a good season. Well, I won't even say a good season. He had a good game. It was a nice comeback. Keep in mind, he's like, oh, we shut them up. Hey, Aaron, you had a 17-0 lead at halftime and you needed a last second field goal to win the game.
Very true.
Anybody remind him of that?
No.
So I don't know who he's shutting up, but I guess he's shutting somebody up. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe, you know, we'll see some more memes of who he looks like. You know, the guy in his first week of work bumming smokes off of people, or the guy stealing carburetors out of the local shop. You know, all those things. I saw one the other day. He was looking like, what did I say? He looked like Nicolas Cage playing Aaron Rodgers in a movie about Tom Brady. I was dying when I saw that one.
So let's complete this full circle here, because we know that Aaron Rodgers did not come to training camp. Obviously, you know, we're in week 4 of the NFL season, and Jordan Love looks suspect at best during the preseason. How bad would the Packers be without Aaron Rodgers this season?
Well, I mean, you're losing one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time, so you'd be infinitely worse, right? Because Jordan Love, look, let's be real, okay? It's 2021. If Jordan Love was the guy they thought they were going to be, they wouldn't have fought so hard to get Aaron back. They would have been, oh, Aaron wants out. All right, well, we don't really want to trade him. We would have said that in the media. We would have said that to the people. We don't want to trade him, but he wants out. So, hey, San Francisco, you want him? Here you go. Give us, a couple of picks, and you can have Aaron. That's what would have happened. But they know Jordan Love's not the guy. Jordan Love is not. Well, maybe he will be. He's just not ready to be the guy right now. And I don't know if he will ever be ready to be the guy. But they'd be 0-3 right now.
So what you're saying is that there are quarterbacks out there that need to sit a year or 4 to learn how to be an NFL quarterback, right?
No,
that's not what you're saying.
If you're ready to be an NFL quarterback, you're ready to be an NFL quarterback. And if you're not, there are guys who develop an NFL quarterback. I mean, you remember, Aaron guys,
Rodgers,
Aaron Rodgers. First of all, Aaron Rodgers would have been ready.
Tom Brady did sit like his first 9 or 10 games, Combs. I'm just throwing it out there, learning behind Mr. Drew Bledsoe himself. But Combs likes to storm off because when he's right, or when he's wrong, so he's probably calling 911, getting ready. Go away, Combs.
Did you just say Tom Brady?
He was not ready. He was like a 7th pick. He was fat. He had man tits. I mean, he was not ready to play in the NFL.
And he came out and let...
He came out of what? The closet? Because he pulled that dick out of his ass and finally started playing ball? Like
He came out after... Oh, my God. You're talking about Tom Brady. The man's been to 10 Super Bowls. He's won 7 of them. And you're going to talk about Tom Brady not being ready to be when he was...
Stop it. Yes or no? Was he...
Yes, his rookie year, he came out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they went to the Super Bowl that year.
They did because they had a great team around him, but he didn't play till week 10. They would have went to the Super Bowl with freaking Drew Bledsoe there. Let's be honest.
Oh, my God.
And how many teams did Drew Bledsoe play on? 12? 13?
Was Patrick Mahomes ready his rookie year?
No.
You're stupid.
Are you serious
He
right
was
now?
he was absolutely ready his rookie year, but the difference between what he did, because I know where you're going with this with Justin Fields. I know where you're going with, and you're trying to piss me off. But
I'm not trying. I'm succeeding.
The difference between Justin Fields and Patrick Mahomes was you had a quarterback who was already an established starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, who was a playoff team. They didn't need to bring him in. Who the hell is Andy Dalton? That man's never even won a playoff game.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Wait,
hang on. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the Chicago Bears make it last year to the playoffs and win a playoff game?
No, they did not win a playoff game.
But they made it. So you're saying that a
At
rookie
8-8,
quarterback
they
went
made
to
it.
a playoff team, and your argument's mine.
How did a rookie quarterback go to a playoff team?
The Chicago Bears.
So
Chicago
is the starting.
playoff bound
Let
team.
me ask you here. Since my that starting quarterback for the Bears last year, is he still on the team?
Somewhat, I guess.
No, he's not.
Nick Foles started
No.
for 3 games, didn't he? 4 games?
Yeah, and now he's a third string guy. So yeah, exactly. My point. So just go ahead and go to break before I keep making you look dumb.
Okay. On the bright side, I always look dumb. So you're
true.
not making me do
That's
anything. But guys, we are going to head to our first break here. On the other side of the break, we are going to do the NFL Power Rankings, our Week 4 NFL Power Rankings with @BusWallace on the Twitter machine. Be sure to follow him on Twitter. It is in the description. But guys, tonight's episode is brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. What do you want now?
Tell me he's better than our boy that we had last year from Twist.
Oh.
Tell me that this guy at least, it has power rankings that aren't going to make my head explode.
Combs, I know you are a baseball guy. This guy is a Blue Jays fan, and he tells you how bad the Chicago Cubs suck week in and week out. Yeah.
I'm watching the Blue Jays play the Yankees right now.
All right. We're up against break, guys. We'll be right back. Enjoy the break.
Tell me why you haven't hit the like button yet. Tell me why you haven't subscribed yet. Tell me why you aren't commenting in the comments. All we want you to do is become a part of Man Hour Nation. Hit that like button, please. Thank you. Adios. What's up, Man Hour Nation? Coming up here next on the Man Hour NFL Power Rankings with Graham Wallace. @BusWallace on the old Twitter machine. Check him out. But right now, guys, hit that like button, share this with a couple friends, and be sure to comment. It helps the channel more than you'll ever know. We appreciate everything you guys do for us here in the comments at youtube.com/Man Hour. Man Hour Nation, rise up. Damn, man, let me borrow some money. Now, Philly, what do you need money for now? I be losing all my money on the pursuit of fantasy football, yo. I just need like 10 more dollars on my machine. Again, I told you to stop playing that site. You simply go to pick'emwars.com, link in the description, and you get to play for free. So you telling me I can play for free? That means 0, 0, 0, and Wilson Man Benjamins, yo. Listen, Yeah. Give me some of that free dough. You know what I'm saying? Oh.
Head over to pick'emwars.com and pick your games for free and win real money. Link in the description. Check it out. Hey, glad you're there. New merch. Check it out. manhourradio.com. Hey, look, a hot dog.
Tell me why you haven't hit the like button yet. Tell me why you haven't subscribed yet. Tell me why you aren't commenting in the comments. All we want you to do is become a part of Man Hour Nation. Hit that like button, please. Thank you. Adios.
What's up, Man Hour Nation? Coming up here next on the Man Hour NFL Power Rankings with Graham Wallace. At Bus Wallums on the old Twitter machine. Check him out. But right now, guys, hit that like button, share this with a couple friends, and be sure to comment. It helps the channel more than you'll ever know. We appreciate everything you guys do for us here in the comments at youtube.com/Man Hour. Man Hour Nation, rise up. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckcostello and Brandon BC Combs tonight. That's BC, not Beastie. BC. Although Beastie merch is coming, I figured I had a guy to get with us. Combs, he's going to like morph your face into like a devil, little demon thing, and
Oh god,
it's going to be pretty cool.
that's
what
gonna be
color?
a pretty sexy demon.
I know, man. It is going to have like the man boobs and everything with a saggy butt and
Hey,
like
now.
the big old beer
Hey,
belly.
now.
It's going to be
I
flat
might
out
have
awesome.
the man boobs, but my butt is firm.
I know. I felt it.
Oh no, you did not, sir.
So guys, if you enjoyed that commercial, apparently I wasn't supposed to air that, although I told everybody that I was. But
Oh,
yeah,
my word.
hopefully you don't find it offensive. I guess some people find it offensive, but whatever. It's all meant and funny and whatnot. But it is time for NFL Power Rankings, Combs. So let's bring our man Bus Wallace onto the screen here. Mr. Wallace at Bus Wallace on the old Twitter machine. How you doing tonight, bud?
I'm doing great. This means a lot to me because I'm missing some of a crucial game between the Blue Jays and the Yankees. They're fighting. Blue Jays, my Jays are fighting for their playoff lives, but I'm still here with you guys because I just like you.
Yeah, well,
I
we
think
definitely
the Blue
like
Jays
you
are
too,
going to
man.
take that over too. By the way, Graham.
Oh, I love that. I love that energy. I'll take that in, that positive energy, and hopefully they can kind of seal it and win
They're
at least
such a
4 of
gritty
these
team.
next 5 games.
My dream ALCS right now would be the Rays or the Jays and the White Sox.
White Sox, okay.
Yeah, just two young gritty teams that would just go back and forth. I mean, there'd probably be extra innings in every game.
I love that. We'll see. I'm not sure if the White Sox will get there. Between the Astros and the Rays, I think they're weaker than both of those teams. But I love that. We'll see what happens. I know you're a Chicago guy, so you
I'm a
gave me
Cubs
some
guy,
Toronto
though,
love.
man.
So I'll give the White Sox some good voodoo as well. Or
We were
juju,
actually
whatever you wanna
talking
call it.
about the Blue Jays actually before the show even started and how they have like 3 players on the team that are like dads that used to play in the major leagues as well. So
yeah. And Bo Bichette
Yeah.
hit a home run earlier too, so that was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So they got 4 guys with over 100 RBI. And also, I know this is a lot of baseball talk to start us off, but Semien now has 44 home runs, the most by a second baseman ever. So that's really
Yeah.
cool.
well, the
I'll
only thing that
talk
matters
baseball
is
all day
Salvi
long.
hit 48 today. So that's
Oh,
all
did he
really
hit
matters.
another one today?
Yeah.
He's
40.
so good.
I thought he was at 47. Okay, well,
Yeah.
he,
Is
he
there
has
a
the
more
most in
underrated
baseball.
catcher in the game right now?
Underrated.
He's probably the most Yeah, he's so underrated.
I think he's getting some love now with what he's doing with the power numbers.
He should have got that love a long time ago, though. He's such a
well,
good
he's
hitter.
never
good
approached-
defensively.
Yeah, he's never
Yeah.
approached that kind of numbers before. I think 29 or 30 was his career high before this
Well, he's
season.
he's
Even
also only played like
setting-
70% of the
yeah.
games too. Like he would take 2 days off a week too. So.
I love Salvi. It seems like he's been in baseball forever. He's only about 30 years old, which is kind of crazy.
he was
7
drafted when he was
All-Star.
16.
appearances. Yeah, just a class act. Love that guy.
All right, so
Let's face it, he's Salvador Perez. He's actually really 47. He just hasn't said it on his
Nobody
birth
knows his
certificate.
real age. Yeah, right.
easy to the World Series. Mr. Wallace, Mr. Bus Wallace, tell them all
Yes,
about
sir.
your show, or not your show, but your blogs and whatnot. And I've been sharing them on
Yeah.
our feed, so be sure to just let them on.
Yeah, I saw that. So you can catch my articles at jaysjournal.com. Started writing for them a few weeks ago. Most recent one came out a couple of days ago. You can also follow me on Twitter at Bus Wallace. You can find me on Instagram as well. If you just search Bus Wallace, you'll find me all lowercase letters. So
Yeah, and I do tag him on the Man Hour Twitter 30 times a day, it seems like, with all the power rankings that we've been doing lately. So we have already released the bottom 16, and just to recap here, guys, the bottom 4 haven't changed. The Jets still suck. The Jags still sucks. Lions are still underrated. The Texans are, catching reality. But then it's the Giants, Falcons, Bears. What?
Did you just say the Lions are underrated?
Yeah, they are.
Buck, you realize they're 0-3, right?
You realize they were leading the Packers at halftime, and they lost
Just
because the refs
you
sucked
picked them to be 11-6 does not make them underrated.
It's still a chance, dog. It's still a
Where
chance.
would you like me to have them? Sorry, I know we're going to get to my rankings. We're maybe behind here. But...
Well, we're not behind. You have all the time in the
We're
world.
good. Okay.
Because we're talking football, and I know how to
Yeah.
get underneath Combs' skin. I'm already prying under it. Combs, the Lions should easily be above the Vikings right now at number 20. So they should be 19, 20, 21 range. Easy.
They haven't won a game, Buck. Last time I checked, the Vikings are 1-2.
Okay.
How can you have an 0-3 team ranked above a 1-2 team?
He has a Colt ranked above the Bears.
I would have the Bears at 33.
Here you go.
That's how bad they are. I would
Mic
have them
drop.
at 33. They are so bad. I would pick up a college team to put at 32 and drop the Bears at 33 as long as Matt Nagy's their head coach.
Hey, Graham, you looked surprised when I told you that the Bears were ranked below the Colts.
I had to kind of look at my and be like, wait, yeah, I did do that.
It's because
I
the
don't blame
Bears
you.
suck. Let's just be honest. The Bears are the worst
They
team
do.
in
Bears are
NFL
having
football.
a rough season.
Yeah.
47 yards total offense. I mean, that's just a tough pill to swallow. Week 2 was a pretty good performance against the Bengals, who seem to be a team kind of on the rise. But I think we should just maybe continue with the rankings. I mean, they're both having tough seasons. Let's just say that. Sometimes it's a crapshoot for me putting these teams. They're all kind of in the same bundle, and sometimes it's a crappy bundle, and it's just kind of a toss-up.
Just moving
Being in
forward, always put the
Toronto-
Lions above the Bears. I mean, that's how you got to do.
Being in Toronto,
Yeah.
who's your team in the NFL?
So I'm a Bills fan.
Okay.
Their games
Makes
are always
sense.
on TV here.
Yeah.
My parents threw a Super Bowl party years ago. I think it was the Bills Giants Super Bowl. I was just a little kid, but I remember that vividly, and that's kind of what started me on this whole Bills fandom thing. I do remember vaguely the Jim Kelly years, and then kind of a bunch of rough years after that. And their games are always
Bills,
on TV. Yeah,
Jays and Maple Leafs.
you got it.
You literally live the sports hell.
Yeah, well, I'm a Raptors guy too. We won the championship a couple years ago. That was pretty cool. But
I'm
I'm a
you
tough
gotta
guy.
wreck
I'm
the
a
country, right?
Canadian.
Yeah.
We're tough. We're polite, but we're tough.
So
Look, as long as your rankings are better than Benzie's, and so far they sound like they are, I'm okay with it.
yeah, so he
you, sir.
so he did have some big movers in the bottom half. Coming in at number 17 was Cincy. And then at 16, this is a first break here, is you had the New Orleans Saints up from last week. Why'd you put the Saints there?
Yeah, well, I feel like this was a really important week for the New Orleans Saints because through 2 games, I really didn't know what their identity was.
Right.
Now, after a couple of successful games, I think the formula for success for them is 25 or less pass attempts for Jameis Winston, and also incorporating Taysom Hill as that kind of wild card, secondary quarterback, whether it's a run or a different pass option. I think he still needs to be a big part of this team. And, I think that's kind of their formula for success.
Yeah, and I think you are spot on that because they do arguably have a top 5 running back in the league, and their top receiver is out in Michael Thomas, and we don't know when he's going to come back. I think he got put on IR, so I don't think he's even eligible till week 8, I think it is. But yeah, I mean, you are exactly right. The less Winston can throw the ball, the less chance he has to throw interceptions, and the less they can put the back against the wall. So 16 for the Saints, I think, is pretty much spot on. At number 15, you have the Tennessee Titans after a big win versus the Colts. They also moved up in the rankings.
They did, yeah. I think this might be the best of a bad bunch. I'm not really impressed with what I've seen from the FC South so far. They kind of had a back and forth battle with the Colts, who have had, a tough season so far. I think they've done enough to be somewhere in the middle of those rankings. They might only win, say, 9 or 10 games, but be at the top of that division. I haven't liked what I've seen from the other teams. There's only one win combined from the other 3 teams. So Titans, I don't really think they're a real contender. I think they're going to probably be a playoff team, but I think they need to tighten up the screws on the defense a bit and just be more impressive generally.
So
But they're 2-1, so you can't really complain too much. Really unimpressive week 1 performance. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. So you're not impressed with what you're seeing from the Tennessee Titans. Why have them above? So to me, I would have the New Orleans Saints a little bit higher than what you do. And I would definitely have them higher than the Tennessee Titans because I'm with you. Like, I'm not impressed with what they've done so far. But the New Orleans Saints, I mean, they manhandled the Green Bay Packers in week 1. I mean, manhandled them. And, then they went out and they had a little, we didn't expect the Panthers to be as good as they are. Nobody thought they were going to be 3-0. But then they walked into New England and beat down a pretty dang good Patriots defense and put 28 points up on them.
Yeah. With the rookie quarterback.
I just, for me, with everything you're saying, like I'm kind of confused as to why you wouldn't have the Saints ahead of the Titans.
Yeah, it kind of comes back to that quarterback position. I still don't really trust Jameis Winston. So far, he's had 2 good games and
you don't know.
1 not so good game. I actually like Ryan Tannehill as a quarterback much more than Jameis Winston. If you look at his 2019 season, he led the league in yards per attempt, and he had the highest quarterback rating in about a decade. I still
have
think
you ever watched the Man Hour, Graham? Because
I have.
A lot of people come at me. Jameis Winston's a top 10 quarterback in this league right now.
He threw 30 interceptions 2 years ago.
He was
30.
also that same year. He was one of 8 quarterbacks ever to throw for 5,000 yards and 30 plus touchdowns.
He's the reason that team didn't make the playoffs. He's literally the reason.
The coaching staff and the play
8
calling is the
interceptions
reason
the
that
last 3 games. 8.
Graham.
Come
First
on.
of all, don't take into account what Tampa Bay did last year because it was a completely different team in Tampa Bay last year because you had the greatest quarterback of all time. He brought his friend Gronk with him. He brought AB with him. It was a completely different team, and he had to take over the play calling because it was atrocious in the first half of the season.
Okay.
That showed right there that Jameis Winston was at, and I agree with you. Keep Jameis Winston at 25 or less because that does seem to be the recipe for success there. Yeah. You've got to be able to limit his mistakes. And so far, they've done a great job of that. The guy's thrown for 8 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions so far this season. So, I'm okay with what they're doing there. Jameis Winston is a top 10 quarterback in this league. I'm telling you right now, one of only 8 all time to throw. And people get mad at me when I say this, that you want to talk about the interceptions. That's fine. Brett Favre made a Hall of Fame career out of throwing interceptions.
He never threw 30 in a season.
He threw 29.
That's not 30, Combs. That's not 30.
4 times in his career, he had more interceptions than he had touchdown passes.
Okay. I'm not even close to ready to put him at the top 10. I think that's crazy. Yeah. I think he's somewhere in the middle. Okay. Do you think he's better than Josh Allen? Do you think he's better than Baker Mayfield? Do you think he's better than Lamar Jackson? Do you think he's better than Aaron Rodgers? Do you think he's better than Matthew Stafford?
He's not better than Matthew Stafford.
Like, I can name 10
Aaron
quarterbacks
Rodgers.
easily that are better than him.
It's
not hard.
There was a couple that you just named that I would take him over. I would
do you
take
think
him
he's
over
better
Lamar
than
Jackson.
Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yes.
Okay. He hasn't been to a Super Bowl. He hasn't won a playoff game.
Well, he's never played on a team like the San Francisco 49ers have had in the last couple of years either.
I
that
can't do
defense
it.
was
You're
insane.
You think he's better than Dak Prescott?
No.
Okay.
But to me, Dak Prescott's a top 5 or 6 quarterback right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about, right? We have different opinions, and
I have Jameis at 10.
Up, right? That's okay.
I have Jameis at 10.
Okay. Do you think he's better than Baker?
Yes.
Wow.
I would take him over Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
We do have difference of opinion. Just Combs just happens to be wrong. Speaking of not being wrong, is that we all did not expect the Panthers to be 3-0 moving forward. They do come in at number 14 here. Fun fact: every time the Panthers have started the season 3-0, they have went to the Super Bowl.
Wow. I don't know if that's in their future, but really like what I've seen from this team so far. Sam Darnold looks like he's kind of reinvented. I know they haven't played a lot of tough opponents. Obviously, the win against the Saints was an impressive win. That defense is flying around. So I think this could definitely be a playoff team, Super Bowl team. I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, the good thing about the the bad thing about the Panthers, I should say, is Christian McCaffrey is hurt, and I believe he's going to miss. Yeah. He's supposed to miss 2 or 3 weeks with a hamstring, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see what kind of team they really are without CMC in there moving forward. But I do like them at 14. They are a big surprise and definitely moving up and trending.
Don't sleep on Chuba Hubbard either.
Oh yeah. Right.
Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian. All right, and then coming in at number 13, you do have another 3-0 team on the rise, the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, a lot of people might say, well, why don't you have them higher? They're 3-0. Well, the combined record of the 3 teams they played is 0-9. They beat the Jets, they beat the Jags, and they
Giants.
beat someone. Thank you, the Giants. So 3 of my bottom 5 teams. I like Teddy Bridgewater. I really like this defense. I think Vic Fangio is getting a chance to be a head coach actually in his 3rd season, despite not having much success in his first 2 seasons, which is nice to see. You know, getting this guy a chance. He's a football lifer, big time defensive coach. But I'm just not really ready to say they're a real contender just yet. I want to see them play and beat a really good team.
Yeah. So I'm with you on the Broncos. I've got there's a girl at work who she's a big Broncos fan. Her name is Liz. She comes at me all the time about the Broncos and the fact that I give them too much crap. And I tell her all the time, it's not me giving them crap. It's just I just don't believe in them yet. Look, they're 3-0. The next 6 weeks are really going to tell the tale for them because they've got Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Vegas, Cleveland, Washington, and Dallas. If they come out of that even 500, and that means they're 6-3. At that point, 500 out of that schedule, I'll consider them a good team. I don't think they will.
Same.
Though.
Yeah.
I think they're probably 1-5 or 2-4 in that stretch.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of W's out of those, or hear a lot of W's out of those teams you mentioned. 2-4 seems likely, but you never know. They're playing with confidence right now. Bridgewater's not turning the ball over. He's not really an explosive quarterback, but the run game's going with Javonte Williams and company. So I think we're on the same page.
And with Bridgewater, he's one of those guys, and we've talked about this before, Buck, where I'm just not sure what it is with Bridgewater because it seems like every team he plays on, they're willing, I should say, to allow him to leave. You know what I mean? To me, it seems like maybe there's something in the head, or maybe he's a certain way in the locker room. But every team he's played on has been really okay with replacing him.
I think the caveat with the Vikings was the injury. He suffered a really tough injury, and he tried to come back, and he wasn't really.
And then they traded for Cousins. Yep.
Right. Yeah. And then Carolina, they're kind of in a transition right now, and I think Matt Rule was. Even this time last season, he was like, who's going to be my quarterback next year? They ended up making that trade with the Jets for Sam Darnold. I was pretty critical of it, skeptical of his ability to be a good quarterback, but he's looked pretty good so far this year. Darnold, that is.
Yeah, I wasn't skeptical of Darnold either.
I
figured he had just been in a really bad situation in a really bad organization. I was happy for Darnold to get out of the Jets because I thought he was a good quarterback even in New York. He just never had a chance.
Yeah, so
speaking now they got Zach Wilson. So, sorry, go ahead, Bob.
You're totally fine. Zach is trash per Torrey Anderson. Speaking of bad situations, the 49ers were in bad situation last year, but they come in at number 12, but they are trending down.
Yeah, I didn't want to kill them too much for this loss. I just was really unimpressive how they came out on the Sunday night game, not swinging, like you said earlier in the program, down 17-0 at the half. I just thought they had no punch to them, and it took a really great effort in the second half to even get back into this game. I know they took a late lead, and that was really impressive. I like them bringing in Trey Lance on that 4th down gamble. He was able to score the easy walk-in touchdown there. I just think they needed to come out with a bit more fire, and it's very likely that they would have won this game and possibly been into my top 5.
Yeah, the 49ers are a good team, just the Packers are a little bit better, and I think that will reflect moving forward here. Coming in at number 11, looks like this might be your biggest dropper of the
Yeah.
week, or my Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I struggled with this, guys. I still consider them, a playoff team, but at 1-2, they're at the bottom of the AFC West right now. There's two 3-0 teams, and there's the Chargers who just beat them, who's coming in at 2-1 as well. I think there's a lot of there's some troubling trends that are happening in the last couple of weeks with the turnovers and the interceptions, particularly with Mahomes. Now, I did some reading about this. They have 9 new starters combined on offense and defense, and I think there's some gelling going on with those two units. They're giving up a ton of yards, however, um, both through the pass and run game on defense. So that's troubling as well. I think they're going to figure it out. You have to give them some benefit of the doubt. This is a team that's been to the Super Bowl the last couple of years, but the Super Bowl hangover, guys, is real. We've seen this with many teams that have lost in the Super Bowl, and they ended up having a 7-9 or something like that season. So that's very possible. I think they have the ability to dig themselves out of this small hole that they've dug for themselves, but they got to start playing better and soon.
Well, I picked them at the beginning of the season to be 14-3, and I had them starting the season 0-3.
Whoa.
And just had them going on a run. And I thought they're a Cleveland collapse away from being 0-3, right? So I think that they're right on par with where I thought they would be. I think they're going to go out and tear up Philadelphia this week, and then then they get Buffalo, which is going to be the challenge. But then if they beat Buffalo, that's really going to send them on a roll, and I think they could still finish the season 14-3, 15-2, somewhere around that ballpark.
Wow.
Yeah, and
they'll turn it around. I believe in Patty Mahomes,
and I think the losing of Sammy Hawkins is hurting the Kansas City Chiefs more than what was on the surface, to be honest.
But now they got Josh Gordon.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be really relaxed in that clubhouse.
So what do you guys give him? 3 games? 4 games?
3.
Before he gets suspended?
Before he's out of the league for one reason or another.
Oh, yeah, till the end of the season.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a big bet.
I would love to see him find
Kansas
success and find happiness, And that team, Tyreek Hill had his own problems in college. A lot of people kind of forget about that. But he slipped big time in the draft, and he's been pretty clean since he's been in the NFL. So.
Well, Andy Reid's a genius of sweeping stuff under the rug as well. So we just want to point that out there. So coming in at number 11, Mike LeBlanc's Dallas Cowboys after a huge win.
Number 10,
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. I thought it was a really impressive win. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles they seem to be in a rebuild right now. Jalen Hurts had probably his worst game as a pro, but I'm impressed with this team. The defense looks a lot better. It looks re-energized. Micah Parsons, I'm going to keep hammering this home, Defensive Rookie of the Year. This guy Diggs is very impressive out on the secondary as well. So, the thing is, they only need their defense to be somewhere in the middle. This looks like potentially a top 5 offensive unit. So they look by far the class of the NFC East. So they just got to keep playing well, and they'll find themselves in at least with a home playoff game.
Yeah, you are exactly right. So the biggest knock about the Dallas Cowboys, and let's say just point this towards Amari Cooper, is he played great at home, but on the road he is always non-existent. And I do the Dallas Cowboys play 9 games on the road this season, so hopefully Amari Cooper can do what he does at home in at least 80% like on the road, and the Cowboys are a Super Bowl bound team. They are that good, I think. So Combs, shake your head all you want. The Cowboys are going to Super Bowl. Next up is you do have the LA Chargers. Another big riser. Beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I think it was most likely the most impressive win of week 2. I really like what I saw out of Justin Herbert. The defense definitely showed up. They got a little lucky with the one no look pass Mahomes threw. It obviously went off the receiver's hand and into the defender's arm, but he did make the catch. They made the plays they had to. And if you think about the week 2 game against the Cowboys, it was a really weird penalty marred game. They certainly could have won that game. They could find themselves 3-0, guys. I've been pretty impressed with this team. I wasn't really on the bandwagon at the beginning, but I've liked what I've seen from them through 3 weeks. And I like the head coach, Brandon Staley. I think he's a rising kind of star in the coaching world.
Yeah, they're another team that for me, like the Broncos, I have to see what they do in the next coming weeks. So like their schedule right now coming up is going to be Vegas, which is basically it's at home, but it's basically going to be a home game for the Raiders. Then
Yeah.
they've got the Browns, and then they're at Baltimore, and then they head to New England. Like I really feel like this is going to be the telling tale. If they come out of these next 4 games, 2-2 or 3-1, I think they're in really good shape.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of really good shape, the Arizona Cardinals are on the rise as well. They come in at number 8.
Yeah, I didn't want to bump them up too much by beating Jacksonville, who I have at the bottom of the rankings. But this was a weird game, guys. They had to fight back to win this. There was the missed field goal return for a touchdown, 109 yards, tied the NFL record. And then there was a pretty gnarly interception early on by Kyler Murray. Fortunately, Trevor Lawrence threw a really bad pick six as well. Byron Murphy was able to grab that and run into the end zone, and they're able to kind of finish them off. I'm really impressed with what I've seen from the defense as well. They've got guys flying around, and they've got playmakers on all levels. Chandler Jones, they got Isaiah Simmons, Buda Baker. So the defense has been better than expected. And Kyler Murray, MVP.
You know, I went back and watched all 3 Arizona Cardinals games. Yes, they have been impressive wins score-wise, but if you really dig deep into those games, like I was breaking film down, I'm like, the Arizona Cardinals guys are not that good. They just haven't played very good teams. And Combs, me and you kind of sat here and thinking they were going to basically lead the West, and they were kind of Super Bowl outliers, Guys, I'm jumping off that Arizona Cardinals bandwagon. Like, you might have them at like 8, but I could easily see them dropping the next 3 of the four games easily.
Buck, they're averaging 35 points a game.
Versus who? The Jaguars? Congratulations.
They beat Tennessee.
Okay.
Convincingly.
That was a good win.
38-13 convincingly. They come back and they beat Minnesota, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then yes, they beat Jackson, but you still have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. That's the same thing we said about the Denver Broncos, right?
Did you not say that the Vikings were the worst team in the North?
The good teams.
Did you say the Vikings were the worst team in the North?
They're not the worst team in the North. The Detroit Lions are, but you refuse to talk about it because
that's a false
statement. Stupid prediction of 11-6. You want to talk about the Lions aren't the worst team in the division? They're 0-3, Buck. They haven't won a game.
We'll see that on Sunday. I'm jumping off.
I don't think they've won. Have they won 11 games in the last 3 years?
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
I don't think they have.
Matthew Stafford flexed on.
I'm pretty sure last year. Pretty sure last year you picked them to win the division too. Just throwing it out there.
They're only a game behind.
All right.
Well, the thing about the Cardinals, guys, is they're playing the Rams in Los Angeles on Sunday. This is it. That's my number 1 team right now. They've been, or I meant maybe, who knows? Spoiler alerts, no spoilers. But a lot of people have them at number 1. They've been probably the most impressive team in the NFL so far. If Arizona can even hang tough with them for most of that game, that would show that they probably do belong in the top 8. If they get their doors blown off and they lose by 4 touchdowns, then obviously I had them ranked too high, and they're going to take a tumble down. So we'll have to see next week.
You're going to take a tumble down if they lose to the Rams
by 4 touchdowns. I said.
Oh, by 4. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, when I say a tumble, more towards the middle. Yeah.
is there a better division than the NFC West?
No.
AFC West.
AFC West, I'm tempted to say that, but I do think, as like we kind of said before, Broncos and Chargers will probably take a couple steps back over the next month and a half or so. Overall, talent-wise, roster-wise, I do think it's the NFC West.
Yeah, Rams, Cardinals, Niners, and Seahawks all are going to have 10-plus wins this year.
If you want to talk about a sneaky good division, the AFC North is sneaky good. Let's just be honest about that. I mean,
Cincinnati is a lot better than I thought they would be. A lot of people killed them for drafting Jamar Chase. He looks like a star.
We were all of
them. And their line's been good enough. And Burrow looks like he's taking another step forward. And the defense is showing a bit of teeth. So pretty impressed with them so far through 3 games.
So coming in at number 7, you have the Cleveland Browns. They're on the rise as well with the addition of Odell Beckham Jr. They continue to get better. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, they just absolutely dominated the Chicago Bears. We kind of mentioned it before. 47 yards total offense. They just 9 sacks. You could poke holes in the game plan, but obviously the Browns were coming they were coming for him on every play. So
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
that's okay. We could just gloss over it. Very impressive win for Cleveland. But it's very similar to what we were kind of saying before. I want to see them beat better teams. They hung tough with Kansas City in the first week, which is cool to see, but they still lost. So if they can beat a team like the Raiders or the Bills, that would be a bit more impressive.
Yeah, so speaking of the Raiders, are they coming at number 6? Sorry, Combs, did you want to talk about the Browns?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're impressive. I think 7's kind of low for them, to be honest with you. I think that I think for me, I have them as a top 5 team right now. I think Baker's has shown that he had a tendency to be a quarterback who you thought was over the hump and then would take that step back. Yep. And he is no longer showing that. He's showing as a guy who's going to continue to progress. He's finding ways to win games. I really like Cleveland. I like them higher than 7 though.
Let's flash back to last year's Monday night game when they had the Steelers, when Baker went off for like 500 yards, right, Combs? We sat here and said, hey, he is going to take a step back, but he can just continue to progress and better and better and better. So like I said, you do have the Raiders coming in at number 6, unchanged from last week.
Yeah, I kind of kept them where they were. Really interesting game. One of the more entertaining games from last week in the 4:00 window against Miami Dolphins, who showed a lot more fight than I think a lot of people anticipated with Jacoby Brissett. They were in that game to win it. Obviously, they didn't win it, but they went to overtime. So not a terribly impressive win necessarily for the Raiders, but in some ways it was, because they had to fight back against a team that seemed really inspired to win that game. Derek Carr, along with Matt Stafford, has probably been 2 of the more impressive quarterbacks in the NFL so far. And the defense has been a little bit better than I've expected as well.
Yeah, just on the flip side of that, the Raiders started 6-2 last year, and then they fell off the face of there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see a complete season from them. I'm not sure if it's going to happen this year, but you got to give them the kudos where it is. They beat the Raiders,
right? And
they beat they beat the Ravens, and they beat someone else good in the second game. Sorry, I'm snoozing on it right now. Steelers, thank you. Yeah. Who aren't looking so good right now. So who knows how impressive that is.
But it was a West to East Coast game at 1 o'clock.
It sure was.
So,
yep.
Is Derek Carr the most underrated quarterback in the NFL?
Well, he might be. I mean, he's been to 3 Pro Bowls. I think he's starting to get his love right now. But I think it's always he threw for 400 yards and they lost by 6. Or he threw for 5 touchdowns, but then he threw an interception at the end of the game. It would always be, now he's making the winning plays that are actually making a difference in the game. And I think that's starting to give him a bit more recognition. So he's definitely on a short list, I'd say, probably.
He's been to 3 Pro Bowls because Patty Mahomes has been playing in the Super Bowl and Tom Brady doesn't go to the Pro Bowl. So
well, Trubisky made a Pro Bowl, for God's sakes. I mean, they put in anyone in that game, right?
That should prove everything right there.
Yeah. Well, you know who else made a Pro Bowl and that shouldn't have made a Pro Bowl, and that's Lamar Jackson. The Baltimore Ravens are unchanged from week 5. Obviously, the Zebras helped them out, and the 65-yard and then record keeping field goal kept them at end the top 5, but they're unchanged from last week.
Yeah, I will say I think this Lamar Jackson hate is a little crazy as well. I mean, he converted a 4th and 19 about a 35-yard pass down the field that set up the 66-yard field goal actually by Justin Tucker. Best kicker of all time? I'm thinking yes.
Hey, Graham, what's a crazier argument? Lamar Jackson is trash or Jameis Winston is top 10?
I think they're both poppycock, honestly.
Well, what was that word? Poopy caca? Is
poppycock?
Oh, poppycock.
Poppycock. Yeah, it's a kind of popcorn as well. I can't get behind either one of those, but that's okay. We can still be friends.
Okay. So speaking of being friends, we are friends with some Packer fans, and they do coming at 4, and they're up in the rankings.
Yeah, Combs said it. Maybe I had Browns too low. Maybe I have Packers too high here, but I just have a feeling that this team is kind of on a roll right now. I know it's only 2 in a row, but I like what I saw from the defense, especially in the first half. I think Joe Barry's unit is starting to come along. A lot of people were really critical of this hire, and he hasn't had a lot of success, honestly, as a defensive coordinator earlier in his career. But it seems like the guys are starting to buy in. We saw some really good plays on defense from them, and Rodgers looks like he's putting it together. We know he could get the job done. He's got a great chemistry with Devontae Adams, and he's developed it pretty nicely with Scaldi Aventis
Got Scantling.
Scantling. I couldn't quite get his
Yeah.
name there. Thank you. So they have some
Welcome to
nice
my
weapons on offense there, and maybe I have them too high at 4, but I like the mojo going on with this team right now.
Yeah, I would have flip flopped them in the Browns, and not to. I mean, you say you like what you saw from on dude. They blew a 17-0 lead.
Yeah, they did. You got to give San Francisco some credit there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a little tough to put these together sometimes. I do put quite a bit of thought into it, and sometimes it's just a feeling like, well, this was a more impressive win, and you weigh different things,
Yeah.
and people are always going to poke holes in them, and that's what it's for. But
Yeah,
So what you're saying
It's
is
hard
you
to put
follow
together
the
a
eye test. Is what you're
perfect
saying.
one. Yeah, you go with your gut, you go with your
yeah.
your
I love
eye,
the
you
eye
go with your
test.
heart, whatever, and
Welcome
whatever
to the Man
feels
Hour
right.
Nation, where we do all eye test.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I get criticized for that. By the way,
Yeah.
I get told that the only time I go to eye test is if I'm losing an argument, which is not true.
It is
not
true,
right.
actually. So we are up to the top 3 here. So let's go with
Yeah.
number 1. Number 1 is
Okay.
is a riser, and that's the LA Rams. They beat the Bucks
got
on
it.
Sunday night, or Sunday.
Yeah.
Rams at 1.
Rams at 1. I was really impressed with what I saw. We saw the Sean McVay that we saw from a few years ago, smiling and energetic and happy. Apparently, he had a killer headache after the game. He just is in love with Matthew Stafford right now, and what he's doing with this offense. Who could blame him? He's throwing the ball down the field. The loss of Cam Akers really seems to be mitigated by a really pass-happy offense. We'll see if Sony Michel and company get more carries as the season kind of goes on. But I really like what I've seen. Aaron Donald is a dominator. They got Jalen Ramsey. They got a great defense as well. This looks like the most complete team and the best team right now in the NFL.
Yeah, and you do have them at number 1, and also Henderson is out for the foreseeable future as well. So Sonny Michel will be the workhorse, and they got a 4th rounder. Combs, you remember his name? Tori can name it, but I don't know who it is. But yeah, the Rams do look great. The last time I saw Sean McVay like this and love his quarterback this much, Jared Goff stole his girlfriend. So hopefully Matthew Stafford doesn't steal his girlfriend as well. So maybe the mojo will stay fine over there in LA. But next team we are going to talk about are the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah.
And we have 2 spots left, 2 and 3. Combs, where do you think the Bucks should land?
God, it's Tom Brady. So I mean, I guess I would throw him at 2.
And that's exactly where he has them. The Bucks coming at number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't really drop them too far from they were the number 1 spot the first few weeks. They lost by 10. They were competitive in this game, but Rams definitely were better. I thought they deserved the benefit of the doubt of not falling beyond that single spot. They're still a Super Bowl team in my mind. And unless they start losing more games, they're going to stay near the top of those rankings, I would think.
Yeah,
whoever won that game was going to get the number 1 seed, and whoever lost is going to stay at 2 for me.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just a battle of the 2 best teams in the NFL right now.
And then that gives us our last team, the Buffalo Bills. They do come in at number 3. However, they are rising up.
Yeah.
I believe they had them at 4 last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they beat the Washington football team. Some people say, well, there was a home game against a middling opponent, but they really kind of hammered this team. They confused Taylor Heineke. I know it was his first road start, only a second career start, or third if you count the playoff game from last season. But he really didn't look good. The pass rush is really improving. The running game looks really good, and it's usually the running game that kind of lags behind the passing attack. So that's really been good to see, and they've been able to make some plays on special teams as well. So this looks like a complete team and a Super Bowl contender, which I thought they would be kind of entering the season.
Let's not forget that they pushed 2 shutouts too.
It's interesting that we've got 4 3-0 teams, and you've got 2 2-1 teams in your top 3.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to put. I mean, we talked a little bit earlier about the Broncos and Panthers.
Denver,
I think
yeah.
we're anticipating them kind of falling off a little bit. I didn't want to put the Raiders too high because we've seen a blistering start from them before. So I'm kind of
sleeping on Arizona.
Well, maybe I had them at 10 last week. I moved them up a couple spots. I'm trying to be pretty deliberate in these rankings, and some of these teams need to prove it to me a little bit more than others. Well, some have the stronger track record. So,
all right,
that's kind of how I'm
35
operating.
Points a game. It's pretty impressive.
No, it is. And
Against Jacksonville, yeah. Congratulations.
Well, actually, they only scored 31 against Jacksonville, so that would mean that they're scoring more closer to 40 against the other opponents. But either way, they're going to have to prove it against the Rams this week because that's definitely a quality opponent.
Well, and it's a must-win because it's a division game. I mean, because if you lose, you are 2 back, and with that division,
Yep.
Combs said everybody's going to get like 11 wins or higher, right? Combs in that division, so you can't afford to fall
And
back.
Tampa Bay, one of their wins was against the Falcons. So I mean, Jacksonville, Atlanta, same thing.
Falcons got to win.
That's fair.
You know who else has a win?
Who's that?
Mr. Bus Wallace on the old Twitter machine and writing with his blogs. Tell people where they can find you again.
Yeah, of course. So it's going to be at Bus Wallace on Twitter. You can also find me at Bus Wallace on Instagram. And look up for my articles on jaysjournal.com. Blue Jays are in a really exciting playoff race right now. I got in the background here, but I'm talking some football with my guys. So make sure to check those things out.
Are you getting nervous right now, Graham?
I'm nervous.
Two-run lead, top
There's
of the
2
seventh. Yankees
nobody
have
out.
no outs. Yeah.
My guy Tim Mesa's on the hill. I think he's going to find a way out of this. I have to have faith.
I hope so. I'm with you here.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the support.
All right, guys, we are up
right.
against our next break here. On the other side of the break, we are going to talk a little way or no way. That is brought to you by Skull Candy Headphones. Head to skullcandyheadphones.com. Link is in the description, guys. We'll be right back after this.
Tell me why you haven't hit the like button yet. Tell me why you haven't subscribed yet. Tell me why you aren't commenting in the comments. All we want you to do is become a part of Man Hour Nation. Hit that like button, please. Thank you. Adios. What's up, Man Hour Nation? Coming up here next on the Man Hour NFL Power Rankings with Graham Wallace. At Bus Wallace on the old Twitter machine. Check him out. But right now, guys, hit that like button. Share this with a couple friends. And be sure to comment. It helps the channel more than you'll ever know. We appreciate everything you guys do for us here in the comments at youtube.com/Man Hour. Man Hour Nation, rise up. Damn, man, let me borrow some money. Now, Philly, what do you need money for now? I've been losing all my money on the pursuit of fantasy football, yo. I just need like 10 more dollars on my machine. Again, I told you to stop playing that site. You simply go to pick'emwars.com, link in the description, and you get to play for free. So you telling me I can play for free? That means 0, 0, 0, and Wilson Man Benjamins, yo. Listen, yeah, give me some of that free dough, you know what I'm saying? Oh.
Head over to pick'emwars.com and pick your game for free and win real money. Link in the description. Check it out.
Hey, glad you're there. New merch. Check it out. manhourradio.com. Hey, look, a hot dog. Tell me why you haven't hit the like button yet. Tell me why you haven't subscribed yet. Tell me why you aren't commenting in the comments. All we want you to do is become a part of Man Hour Nation. Hit that like button, please. Thank you. Adios. What's up, Man Hour Nation? Coming up here next on the Man Hour NFL Power Rankings with Graham Wallace. At Bus Wallace on the old Twitter machine. Check him out. But right now, guys, hit that like button. Share this with a couple friends. And be sure to comment. It helps the channel more than you'll ever know. We appreciate everything you guys do for us here in the comments at youtube.com/Man Hour. Man Hour Nation, rise up. Damn, man, let me borrow some money. Now, Philly, what do you need money for now? I'll be losing all my money on the pursuit of fantasy football, yo. I just need like 10 more dollars, mama. Sheesh. Again, I told you to stop playing that site. You simply go to pick'emwars.com, link in the description, and you get to play for free. So you telling me I can play for free? That means 0, 0, 0, and Wilson Man Benjamins, yo. Listen. Yeah. Give me some of that free dough. You know what I'm saying? Oh.
Head over to pick'emwars.com and pick your game for free and win real money. Link in the description. Check it out. Hey, glad you're there. New merch. Check it out. manhourradio.com. Hey, look, a hot dog.
Oh my god.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckkosh along with Brandon Combs. Now, you can find us on Twitter at manhour_buck and, of course, manhour_Holmes on the Twitter machine. We just got done with Graham Wallace talking some NFL power rankings. That is clips, so if you missed any part of the show whatsoever, head on youtube.com/manhour. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon as I do upload the clips 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. every Sunday through Thursday, East Coast time, and then Fridays I sprinkle in that 8 o'clock hour since we are not live. So let me go ahead and bring Combs back onto the show here as Combs' phone is lighting up because apparently we're doing something right. People are watching. People are already saying, what's up, man? What's going on? So Combs, welcome back to the show, buddy.
Oh, man. Yeah. People are, I don't know what's going on over there. I haven't been able to watch the videos yet. I do know one of them you sent me last night. I cried. I was laughing so hard. I'm not so sure it's appropriate, but I've got that sense of humor.
Yeah.
So I cried because I was laughing so hard. I think I had Michelle rolling too, and yeah, it was pretty funny.
So four people saw the commercial before it was aired. 3 of them approved, 1 of them didn't, and 1 of them was my wife, and I think she just embarrassed by how freaking hilarious I actually am.
I didn't approve of it. I'm pretty sure I said do not air this.
Yeah, you did. But you know what? This is live, raw, and uncut sports talking. You know what?
Sometimes is that one of the ones you're airing?
Yeah, those are it, man. Those are it.
Oh, God.
Those are it. But it is time for Way or No Way, brought to you by Skull Candy Headphones, skullcandy.com. Link is in the description, guys, to save yourself 20%. So if you want the most amazing, comfortable, like I got my Skull Candy headphones on right now. They have over the ear, they have noise canceling, and they got the whole earbud thing too, and then the around the ear like earbuds. Guys, they are absolutely amazing. They are wireless. Like I actually have a cord on mine. Like I bought the cord ones because it hooks into my mixer. But I use my wireless ones just like my Apple AirPods. It got a 2 microphone set, has a single touch play, skip, and answer phone calls, guys. And they're cheap. They're like I bought my earbuds for about $25 at skullcandy.com, guys. Click on the link in the description. And you won't be disappointed. But Combs, it is time for Way or No Way. Tell the people what it is, and let's get started, man.
All right, so Way or No Way is just a bunch of, it's sports talk where I bring up some things and I ask the guys, hey, is this a way or is this a no way? Am I crazy or does this make sense? So, Buck, are you ready to get going?
I am always ready, brother.
All right, so Devin Williams of the Milwaukee Brewers. During the celebration after winning the division, I'm not sure if he was angry. I'm not sure if it was accidental, but from what I've read and what I've seen and the research I did before the show, it looks like there was he was angry about something and he punches a wall and he breaks his hand. And he's probably one of the best setup guys in the game. He has probably the nastiest, filthiest changeup I've ever seen in my life. And now he's not going to be able to pitch in the playoffs. So I ask you this. Devin Williams will not be welcomed into the locker room in October.
Ooh, not welcomed as in like not able to play, or just like the celebration wise.
Not welcomed into the locker room. Players aren't going to want him around because what he just did was alter his team's chances of being successful in October.
You are absolutely 100% correct, but to no way he will definitely be welcomed back into the locker room when his hand healed, or he's probably in the locker room right now. Let's just be flat out honest, because everything of what you just said, he is the best head up man in all of baseball. And Combs, what wins championships? Pitching wins championships. The Brewers' bats suck. Their defense is mediocre at best, but their pitching has been absolutely top notch for most of the season. So when you don't want a guy like that back on your roster and could possibly help you win a World Series, and you need him to win a World Series for sure, I mean, no way they would never not welcome him back into the locker room. Yes, I just said a double negative there, but no way they'll definitely want him back in the locker room. However, punching the wall is the dumbest thing to do, period. Walls don't give, you dummy.
And that's why I don't think if I'm his teammate right now, I'm angry with him. I'm angry. Look, like you just said, pitching wins championships. Their pitching has been insane for the better half of this season. And they have been pitching out of their minds. And now one of their best pitchers coming out of the bullpen can't pitch because he was stupid and he punched a wall. That would piss me off. I would be very angry as a teammate if your selfishness, what could have made you so mad while celebrating the fact that you just won the division, that you had to punch a wall?
I agree with you,
Your hands
Combs.
are your job.
You're right.
You're a pitcher. There's no reason to hit the wall.
But everything you are saying is like their pitching has been great. He is the best setup man in all of baseball. Why wouldn't you want that on your team to help you succeed in October or in November? I mean, you have to want that.
Because he's not going to be on the roster now. He's got a broken hand.
He'll be back. I mean, a broken hand heals in like 2 weeks.
Stop it. He's not going to be able to throw a ball for the rest of the season.
So is it broken or just like fractured?
It's fractured. Yeah, it's
what a
not
fucking idiot.
Yes, I agree.
What's next?
Moving on. The Chicago Bears purchased 323, signed a purchase agreement to purchase 323 acres in Arlington Heights, Illinois. It's about 25 minutes outside of the city of Chicago. So, I ask you this. Bears moving to Arlington Heights is a good move for the football team.
It might be a good move for ticket prices. It might be a good move for the new $3 billion stadium that they're going to build to compete with LA and Vegas and, whatever they're going to do. And it's going to raise your property taxes, Combs, by 20% to pay for it. But, guys, there are certain places that you don't move from. The Green Bay Packers don't move from Lambeau Field. The Kansas City Chiefs should never move from Arrowhead Stadium. The Detroit Lions should never move away from Ford Field. The Chicago Bears should never move away from Soldier Field. I don't care how run down or corrupted it is. You can throw in a couple $1 million and put in new seats and put heaters under the field. Do whatever you want. Upkeep it. But there is something about Soldier Field. What, Combs, they've been there since like 1920 at Soldier Field, right?
No, they've been there since like 1970.
Okay.
1960s something. They played at Wrigley Field for a long time.
50 years, right? They've been at Soldier Field for 50 years. There is history there. You guys have won division championships there. You've won your last Super Bowl at that field. What is going to be the one thing that makes Soldier Field such a great place to be a part of, Combs, is that wind coming off the lake, freezing the opponents, and just freezing you to a core, and that gives you the ultimate home field advantage. I mean, I don't think you have that in like Arlington when you're they'll probably put a dome on that thing. Let's just be honest.
Oh, they're going to. They're going to, and it's going to be a $6 billion stadium, not a $3 billion.
Stupid.
And not only that, but they're moving to an area that they're going to be building a casino there. They're going to be doing all sorts of stuff. The Bears don't own Soldier Field. The city of Chicago owns Soldier Field. They don't allow the Bears to make renovations. They don't allow them to change from grass to turf. They don't allow them to do certain things. There's certain times where they can use the field, certain times where they can't. It has been a nightmare. They move to Arlington Heights. They get a new stadium. They can host a Final Four. They can host a Super Bowl. They can host all sorts of events that allows them to bring in money for the team and use that money for the team. They don't get that now with Soldier Field. Not only that, how many teams don't play in the city that they represent? Right? You look at the New York Jets and New York Giants. They both play in New Jersey.
Right.
Okay. You look at the New England Patriots. They don't play in Boston, Massachusetts. They play in Foxborough, Massachusetts, about 35 minutes outside of Boston.
Because Massachusetts is so big.
But Boston's the city, though, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Boston's
I
the spot.
Right.
And then you look at, there's all sorts of. I believe the Dallas Cowboys. I don't even believe they play in Dallas. I believe they play in a suburb of Dallas.
Yeah,
So-
it's Arlington or something, right?
Yeah. So it's there. It happens all over the place. The Bears organization will thrive, even though I don't want the McCaskies to benefit from this because I believe they're a horrible ownership. But hopefully, doing this will allow them to make more money by selling the team. That's really what I'm hoping for.
There you go. I mean,
So
after you said that, I do kind of see the positives of it, but like I was just thinking about like the history of the field. But
yeah, for sure. I
you're
mean, there's
100%
definitely
right.
history, but it's just it's not worth it. So let me ask you this: Marcus Spears, Swagoo. This guy, I mean, I tell you right now, I think he watches Man Hour
Oh.
because the next day after I went on my rant on Monday, on Tuesday morning, I got sent a video by Drew who was watching First Take or whatever, the Get Up, whatever show he's on ESPN. And he sent me a video, and Swagoo was saying verbatim what I had said on Monday night. Verbatim.
That's a big
So-
word. I'm proud of you for that.
Swagoo says that Derek Carr is the front runner right now for the MVP.
Hmm.
So let me ask you: is Derek Carr the front runner for the MVP? Way or no way?
You know what? I have to go way because a lot of MVPs are based off your team's performance. And Derek Carr is having arguably a career stat-wise year right now. The Raiders are 3-0. But on the flip side of that, we've seen the Raiders year in and year out start hot. Combs, where did they end up? 8-8, 7-9. Hell, there was one year they started 6-0 or 8-0. They finished the season 8-8. So
But it's year to year, though, right? You can't just because a team was horrible last year doesn't mean they're great this year. Just because the team was great last year, I mean, what have the Atlanta Falcons been since they went to the Super Bowl 4 years ago?
fourth quarter bust. You're absolutely right. So I'm going to go with way that Derek Carr right now is the front runner for the MVP. But we've only played 3 games of the NFL season. Patrick Mahomes hasn't got hot yet. Aaron Rodgers is starting to find his swag again. Lamar Jackson is completing jump passes. Hell, Josh Allen threw for 500 yards the first week or whatever it was, or second week. I can't remember now. We are such in a quarterback heavy league right now that you almost have to have the name and the franchise recognitions to win you a MVP. So as Derek Carr might be the front runner right now, if the Dallas Cowboys go 10-7 this season, Dak Prescott will win the MVP.
So, Derek Carr, it's hard for me to say that he's the front runner for MVP right now, just because he's Derek Carr, and you start thinking about all the names out there right now, and you look at some of these teams, you look at a Matt Stafford, and Matt Stafford's just going off right now, right? But Derek Carr's got some impressive victories. I mean, he beat the Baltimore Ravens pretty handily. They put up 33 points on Baltimore. Then he went into Pittsburgh and handed the Steelers their first loss. Then he went up and beat up Miami. 3 defenses who we talked about before the season who were going to be pretty dang good,
Right.
who are pretty respectful, right? So now he's got the Chargers this week. If he does the same thing and they beat the Chargers, then he gets the Bears, the Broncos, the Eagles, and the Giants in his next 4. They could damn right well be 8-0 to start the season. Because if they get past the Chargers, even if they don't get past the Chargers, they could definitely be 7-1 starting the year. I think Derek Carr's got a case to be the MVP this year. I think he's fighting right now. I think for me, he's number 2 and Matt Stafford's number 1. But that's like, I wouldn't count him out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't count him out.
Yeah, you are 100% right, like on that, because you really can't count anybody out right now. But here's my biggest issue with the MVP. Usually, it is the best quarterback on the best team at the end of the year. It never is that most valuable player on a team, because if you truly think about the most valuable player on a team right now, like flat out most valuable, it's Cole Beasley for the Buffalo Bills. Like he is their bread and butter that hold that team together. Mr. Anti-vaxxer himself. He could be spreading coronavirus everywhere to those other teams. But you know what? The Buffalo Bills, the rest of them are vaccinated and they're fighting that war. But for whatever reason, Cole Beasley is just that dog that every team has to have. And if it was a true MVP award, it would go to a player like that year in and year out. It would go to a player like Micah Parsons that is single-handedly elevating that defensive play on the Dallas Cowboys each week. He is a middle linebacker playing like stand-up defensive end right now. How is that not the most valuable player on your team? I mean, a rookie is able to float from spot to spot to spot. So my definition of a quote MVP is different than most, because Combs, let's just be honest, the voters are, I don't even know how they pick the MVP. Do the owners vote on it?
They pick a quarterback.
Well, yeah, but like, who is it the owners that vote? Coaches, like who votes on it?
I think it's the players.
Is it the players that vote?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But it might be the writers.
But either way, it's the best quarterback on the best team.
I think the Raiders are going to be the team that I was way wrong about in the preseason.
Think so?
I had them at 3-14 this year.
Yeah, I mean,
they're already 3-0.
I think I had them like at 7-10 because that's just who they are. They are a 500 team. It is like they get complacent. They're like, oh, I'm happy with my 7 wins. Let's just coach for the rest of the year. Let's get on that banana boat and get a top 10 pick. Like that's just kind of who they are.
You ready for the last one?
I am ready for the last one.
All right. So number 1 Alabama takes on number 12 Ole Miss. Number 2 Georgia takes on number 8 Arkansas this weekend. Way or no way, we will have a new number 1 and number 2 on Sunday morning.
Who was number 2?
Georgia. They're playing Arkansas, who's number 8, and Alabama, who's number 1, takes on Ole Miss, who's number 12.
No way whatsoever. Like Alabama could lose by 116 points somehow, somewhere though. That they will end up in the top 4 in the playoffs. They could be 2-12 and still end up in the playoffs. No, but seriously though, for the SEC, I've been on record saying this many times that they are not the best division in football. This year, they have a lot more parity. Alabama seems to be down a tad bit. Georgia and, Arkansas, Texas A&M, hell, even Kentucky, they all seem to be a tad bit more up. But there are times in games, Combs, whether it be NFL, college, high school, junior high, fifth grader flag football teams' names carries warrant. When you go and play Alabama, when you go play a Georgia, just a name alone fears you 9 times out of 10, and that automatically gives them a 7-point advantage playing whatever team they play. So there might be a new number 1 and a new number 2. But Alabama and Georgia are still going to be number 1 and number 2 at the polls when they come out Sunday night or whenever they come out.
I disagree. I think that this year in college football, we don't have a clear dominant team. You saw Alabama and Florida played right up with Alabama all the way to the end of the game 2 weeks ago. Georgia is maybe as close as you can get to a dominant team, but I think Arkansas is going to beat them this weekend. I think Georgia's on upset alert, and I think Alabama's on upset alert. I think both of them two teams lose. I think we've got a lot more parity in college football than we do. And don't think that this is a ploy for me to say Notre Dame's going to slide in there, because Notre Dame is sitting at number 9, is taking on number 7 Cincinnati, and I'm not picking Notre Dame to win this weekend. So this has nothing to do with that. This has to do with the fact that I think there's a lot more parity in college football, and I think that that's going to trend that way, especially now that they're going to allow players to get paid. I don't think it's going to matter where they go, and I think that it's going to really even the field in college football.
Yeah, and I actually have to totally disagree with you on that 100%. Just because, let's think about this. When you think of football, Combs, what conference do you think of?
The SEC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So with that being said, players, all those 5-star players that were going to be backup in third string on like Alabama their freshman sophomore year, and they go to like a Clemson or a Florida State, all those players are going to go to Alabama now because they got that Alabama name, they got that SEC conference name behind them, and they got all that the NIF money or whatever. They are able to get paid for the likeness and Facebooks and training and like all that crap. So why not sit on the bench, get better as a player, become a number 1 overall pick or a first-round pick, second-round pick, and still get paid your $1 million or a brand new car, a new truck? Like hell, the Kentucky quarterback right now is driving in a brand new truck and a brand new car and has a Planet Fitness deal that he just signed with, and he flat out sucks. So it just there is no advantage now of going to a Kansas State as a 5-star athlete, and you might start. Sure, you're still going to be a 5th or 6th round pick. You can go to Alabama, compete, have more competition in practice than you do in games, and become a number 1 overall pick and still get paid. I mean, I think this helps the SEC and Alabama, Georgia, LSU more than anything.
Here's why Georgia's on upset alert. JT Daniels is battling an injury. He's got a lat injury. That's going to hamper him heading into this game.
You're right.
That's going to give. I'm just telling you, it's going to give Arkansas an advantage there. And Ole Miss is just, look, they always play Alabama tough. They always find a way to play Alabama tough.
It's a conference game.
And I'm just telling you, both of them are on upset alert. Now, I say that they're both going to win by 64, and it's going to be a moot point. But I think both of them are on upset alert. I think there's a lot more parity in college football this year than we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, well, and if you guys want a chance to win some free money, be sure to head over to pick'emwars.com. Link is in the description. That's pickemwars.com. Sign up for free, and you can pick all these games for free and win real money. Last week, I won $87.50 on Major League Baseball picks. So if I can do it, you guys can. So it's really, really easy. So, Combs, let's go ahead and head to break. On the other side of the break, guys, we're going to have some shot talk and some Bucks thoughts to end the show. All right, man, we'll be right back. Where's that? There's the break. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeye along with Brandon Combs tonight. If you missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can find us on podcast form on iTunes, Spotify, and of course iHeartRadio, or simply head over to manhourradio.com and click on the podcast, and it'll be right there. Be sure to download this and share with a couple friends. Or if you just wanted to watch a certain part of the show when we had our NFL power rankings, or when we talked about how great Aaron Rodgers is going to be, or if you talked about how great the Detroit Lions will be for the rest of the year, head over to youtube.com/manhour, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, then click on all. And we do upload clips each and every day over there, 5 to 6 times a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So join the Man Hour Nation, guys. Comment, have some fun, as we always do have fun on the show here. So let me bring Combs back onto the show here. Combs, we've had a great show, man. Like, those NFL power rankings always get me fired up, and I feel like we could have kept Mr. Wallace on the show like all night, and we could still be talking about Jameis. Like, let's just be honest about that.
Yeah, there's a few arguments we could have now.
Yeah. So, like I said, he does his research, and he does all 32 teams, just not like the top 10 or the top 5, or he doesn't go to CBS or ESPN and just rip their rankings off. He does all 32 teams. He does research, guys. So definitely give him a follow on Twitter. You know, like his clip. We will be doing that, and like all that say. So Drew says, is it just me, or has officiating really gotten bad this year? Combs, you want to start off with that? Because, you know,
In the NFL?
I'd assume that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, officiating is atrocious, but it's been atrocious for years now.
Ever since replacement refs.
Yeah, it's not even just the NFL. That's why I had to ask you, because I mean, you can pretty much trash officiating in every sport. I don't get it. Like, it makes no sense to me how bad some of these officials, you know, pro officials are. It's crazy to me. Like, some of the calls that you see, and you're just like, wow, how, like, there is at no time ever should I ever know a referee's name,
right,
or an umpire's name. But I could tell you all about Angel Hernandez. I could tell you all about Cowboy Joe West.
Yeah.
You know, I could tell you all about guys like Ed Hockley and you know, these guys in the NFL. Like, I just do your job. It's not hard. Your job is not, and that's where I think a lot of referees get it. And I say this all the time because I'm telling you right now, I've never yelled at referees as much as I have in 8th grade girls basketball. But
pay him more, Combs.
Your job is not to look for penalties. Your job is to call them when you see them.
Right.
You're not supposed to be out there looking for the penalty. You're not supposed to be out there looking to throw the flag. Like, I'm a ref myself. My idea of a perfect game is the clock keeps winding and I never have to blow the whistle.
Get paid by the game, not by the hour, baby.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, as Bo Bichette just went deep again to give the Blue Jays the lead.
There you go.
But no, I don't know. Like, officiating in all sports has been bad, but yes, it's been especially bad in the NFL.
You know when officiating got worse, Combs? I mean, like, obviously when the replacement refs came in for, was it the full year or a half year? I can't even remember now.
I believe it was a half year.
Yeah, but like the Packers fans know that very well as the both caught it in the end zone. I don't even remember. It was so dumb. But ever since replay has been implemented, the refs rely on that so much, and then when like a coach runs out of replays, or we're not within the 2-minute time period or whatever, right? They're like, oh, they'll just replay it and we'll get the call right. No, just make the call right there. Like, if we want better officiating moving forward, get replay out of the game. Take it out of baseball. Take it out of football, college. Like, college football is the worst. They replay every freaking play. Like, a college football game takes damn near 6 hours to complete. Now,
it does not stop it.
Are you serious? The K-State game, Oklahoma State game last week, I DVR'd it, and my DVR ran out because the game was 5 hours and 45 minutes long. Come on.
I don't believe that.
I will screenshot it and show you it. But now Now, I'm not take replay out of every aspect of the game, but let's review, a touchdown. Let's review a home run. Let's not review that, the lineman was 3 inches too far up the field and it's illegal lineman. I don't want all that crap. Review the plays that matter, and that's scoring, turnover. Hell, yeah, let's say scoring, turnovers, and that's about it. And maybe some ball spottage, like if it's blatantly like obvious, like, hey, Patrick Mahomes reached 4 yards up the field for the first down, even though his body was way back there, which that's crazy how they do that.
Look, I know you're getting old, but we don't have to talk about ball spottage. I mean, you're getting spots. It's a different story right now.
Jeez. You talk about Tori's dad jokes.
By the way, the K-State game last week took 3 hours and 26 minutes.
Okay. How much time is on a clock, Combs? How about this? How long is an average NFL game? 2.5 hours?
Yeah, about 2.5 to 3 hours.
So it's
usually I'm watching a 3 or 3:30 kickoff well into the Sunday night football pregame show.
Right, which is 6
usually
o'clock. Right. So first of all, Javier says I'm right. I know I'm right. I like Javier. Thank you for your vote of confidence there. Definitely appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, a college game should not last longer than a pro game. They literally review every first down, every catch, every fumble. It is ridiculous what they do for the college game, Combs. It's stupid.
See, and I'm on the opposite spectrum. If you're going to review one thing, you've got to review everything, right? Like there should be no reason.
But they don't. They don't review
decided
pass interference
right. There should be no reason why a game is decided on a play that shouldn't have been called the way it was called, but it's not a reviewable game, a reviewable play.
So, do you remember? Was it 2 years ago they tried the pass interference replay thing, and none of them ever got turned over?
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why some of that stuff isn't there, because none of them will get turned over because it's not physical, or it's what's the word? It's not undisputable evidence, right? So
right.
How about this? How about this? Let's save, because a NFL referee gets roughly around $120,000 a year. So there's 6 on the field. 16 games a week. You do the math. You figure that out. Let's say $8 million. Let's save $8 million a year. Put that into camera equipment, the AI technology. Use that Skycam and drop a flag right where the penalty is. And just do everything automated.
I'm okay with that. I mean, in baseball, I've been clamoring for automated strike zones for years now. I have no problem with automated officiating. I think we've got the technology to do it. I don't see why we just don't go and do it.
Until the AI takes over the world. You've seen Terminator, haven't you? Sheesh, we are screwed if that happens. All right. Are you ready for my thoughts, Combs?
I'm never ready for your thoughts, because I know some of the things that went through your head, as evident as the commercials are today, apparently.
Whatever. Let's get to it. And now, Mike's thoughts. So my thoughts of the night are kind of gonna go towards sports in general. Like, I mean, we've talked about referees, we've talked about players, and like all this stuff, but let's talk about the simple fact that we spoke a little bit about this with Kevin O. I believe it was Sunday or Monday night. I can't remember for sure what night it was. But Kevin O comes out and said that athletes and celebrities don't know the platforms that they are given, and they don't understand the value of their words, right? So with all that being said, the other day, LeBron James come out and said, and I quote, "It is best for me and my family that we get vaccinated." This was just a day or so after that Kyrie Irving has come out and said that he will not get vaccinated because he thinks his DNA is getting sold to a supercomputer. I don't even remember what it was. Absolutely crazy, absolutely whatever you want to talk about it. This guy is, there is left field, and then there's Kyrie ballpark, and that's exactly where Kyrie Irving is at with that thought. But the NBA come out today and said that players that do not get vaccinated and they cannot play in certain arenas will not get their paycheck. And professional athletes are up in arms about this. They are pissed off. They're saying, "Oh, I signed a contract. It's guaranteed, yada, yada, yada." If I have to get, my work right now is mandatory, is making me get a vaccine by October 8th. So I have, 10 days to get a vaccine, or I am out of a job. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is what is coming up from the head, and it is trickling down. So when the NBA says that, you know what, if you don't want your vaccine, but these arenas like Golden State and Brooklyn that is, basically forcing their employees to get it, and you don't have it, and you don't play, you aren't going to get paid. How is that unfair? Come on, Mr. Kyrie Irving, or whoever is not Andrew. What's his name? If you guys aren't going to get vaccinated, I totally agree with you. I mean, I'm not anti-vaxxer or pro-vaxxer. Like, I'm right down the middle. I don't really care one way or the other. I mean, I get a flu shot just to appease some people in my family, and that's it. So if this is going to appease my work and be able to keep my job and keep food on my table, keep money in my pocket, I'm going to do what I got to do. NBA players, baseball players, hockey players, whoever, tennis players, golf players, if they're requiring you to get something, just go get it. It is just like going to school, Combs. You got to have your tetanus shot to go to school, right? You got to have your chickenpox vaccine or whatever. Like, it's a part of life. Deal with it. That's all I got to say, guys. Come on, just don't be stupid. Man Hour Nation, rise up.